If you think all crabs are the cute little pinchers scuttling on a tide pool, you're about to find out why dead wrong. The deeper you go, the more crabs twist into bone-white giants with spider legs, eyeless faces, and arms covered in bizarre hairs. It's not just weird, it's survival at the edge of what life can handle. So why do crabs get creepier the deeper you go? And just how strange can it get before they vanish altogether? Let's dive in. Picture the classic crab you'd find shuffling along a tide pool or hiding under a rock at low tide. This is the baseline. A roundish, compact body, short, sturdy legs built for scuttling sideways, and eyes poking out like tiny periscopes. Shore crabs, sand crabs, hermit crabs. These are the ones you might spot at the beach, maybe chasing each other or, if you're unlucky, going for your toes. Their shells come in earthy greens, reds, or browns, sometimes even a splash of blue. They're built for a world with sunlight, waves, and plenty of snacks. Everything about them says standard issue crab. Now think of where these crabs live. The upper ocean, called the surface or coastal zone, stretches from the shoreline down to about 200 meters. Here, sunlight still reaches the seafloor, plants can grow, and food is everywhere. Below that, things change fast. Marine scientists break the ocean into zones. The twilight zone runs from 200 to 1,000 meters, where light fades to a blue haze. The midnight zone runs from 1,000 to 4,000 meters, where it is pitch black. The abyssal zone covers the flat, freezing plains from 4,000 to 6,000 meters. And the Hadal zone means the trenches, deeper than 6,000 meters, where almost nothing survives. If you're wondering whether you'll ever run into the really weird crabs by accident, don't worry. The nightmare fuel types do not show up on family beach trips. You'd have to go way, way deeper. For now, this basic crab, the one you'd recognize in a seafood restaurant or a cartoon, is our starting point. Everything that happens next is what evolution does when it gets pushed out of the comfort zone. So let's drop down one level at a time and watch how the crab shape starts to warp. Drop below the sunny shallows and the crabs start bulking up. Enter the king crab, a creature that looks like it spent its life at a gym designed by a Viking. These crabs don't just get bigger, they get armored. The red king crab can stretch its claws wider than a dinner plate and weigh more than a house cat. They are found in the cold waters of the North Pacific, usually somewhere between 50 and 400 meters deep, right where the light starts to fade and the water turns frigid. Their shells are thick and spiked, built to handle the rough and tumble world of the continental shelf. Fishermen in the Bering Sea haul up piles of these giants every season. Sometimes so many, the deck looks like a scene from a seafood fever dream. Each crab is a fortress on legs, with claws strong enough to break open clams and crush snails. If you're not careful, they can leave a mark on your glove. It is not just about size. King crabs survive colder temperatures and fewer predators by getting bigger and tougher. Bigger bodies and thicker shells store energy and protect them. They move slower than their shallow cousins, but with that much bulk, who needs speed? For crabs, this is the get swole zone. Still, even at their most intimidating, king crabs are unmistakably crabs, just supersized and battle-ready. The real weirdness doesn't start until you head further down the slope, where the legs begin to outnumber the body by a ridiculous margin. Drop down the continental slope, and the crab silhouette starts to warp into something almost unrecognizable. Enter the spider crab, a creature that looks like evolution ran out of ideas and just started stretching things for fun. Its legs can reach up to 3.7 meters from tip to tip. That is about the length of a small car, all supported by a body barely the size of a dinner plate. The first time you see one, it is hard not to wonder if you're looking at a crab or a deep-sea marionette. Those spindly limbs are not just for show. In the cold, dim waters between 50 and 600 meters down, food is scarce, and the seafloor stretches for miles. The spider crab's strategy is simple. Park the heavy body in one spot and send those legs out like fishing rods, sweeping for scraps without wasting energy. Each step covers a huge radius, letting the crab forage while barely moving. It is the ultimate work smarter, not harder approach, if you ignore the part where it looks like a boss fight from a horror game. And despite the nightmare appearance, these giants are mostly scavengers, more interested in dead fish than anything living. They look ready to chase you, but in reality, they are just after leftovers. At depths between 200 and 1,400 meters, the rules of crab life start to twist again. Here, deep red crabs like Chasion gather for one of the ocean's strangest dinner parties. When a whale carcass drifts down and settles on the seafloor, it does not last long. Remotely operated vehicles have caught the moment these crabs arrive, sometimes dozens at a time, their legs flashing in the remotely operated vehicle lights as they jostle for position on the massive body. It is not a chaotic swarm like you would see with amphipods. It looks more like a coordinated cleanup crew than anything from the beach. Each crab tears off chunks of flesh, working alongside hagfish and deep isopods, recycling the whale into the ecosystem. There is no fighting over territory, just a silent, communal frenzy. In the deep sea, food comes in unpredictable windfalls, so when luck strikes, everyone digs in. These episodic feasts are rare, but they show how survival at depth is all about taking your shot when it comes. Once the bones are picked clean, the crabs vanish back into the darkness, waiting for the next big meal to fall from above. At a depth where sunlight is just a rumor and the water is nearly freezing, crabs start pulling tricks that would make a mad scientist jealous. In 2005, a Japanese research team led by Dr. Shinji Tsuchida sent an ROV down over 2,200 meters along the Pacific-Antarctic ridge. What they found looked less like a crab and more like a deep-sea fever dream. A pale creature with arms so fuzzy they could pass for pipe cleaners. This was the Yeti crab, later named Kiwa hirsuta, and it quickly became a celebrity in the world of weird animals. Those shaggy arms are not just for show. The fur is actually covered in bacteria. The crab waves its bristly claws over hydrothermal vents, farming these microbes right on its own body. When food is this scarce, why bother chasing it when you can grow your own? The Yeti crab's entire lifestyle is a walking science experiment. No eyes to speak of, a ghostly shell, and a personal garden of bacteria. It is like evolution handed out a toolbox and said, "Good luck." Push deeper, and the crabs start looking like they belong in a haunted house, not an aquarium. Take the blind vent crabs. MBARI researchers have filmed around hydrothermal chimneys, bone white, with no real eyes, just sunken stubs where vision used to be. These crabs shuffle slowly, feeling their way through the dark with antennae and arms bristling with fine hairs. In a place where sunlight never arrives, eyes are useless, so evolution tosses them out and doubles down on touch and smell. The result is a creature that senses the world through chemical trails and vibrations, like a ghost hunting by scent. Honestly, it's hard to say which is more unsettling, the empty eye sockets or the fact that these crabs might not even notice you are there. Pressure builds in the ocean. It increases by 1 atmosphere for every 10 meters you go down. That means a crab at 1,000 meters is dealing with 100 times the pressure you feel at sea level, enough to crush anything not built for it. Sunlight disappears completely around that depth. Below 1,000 meters, it is pitch black. The water chills to just above freezing, hovering between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius. Colors go strange. Red crabs look almost black because red light cannot reach this far. According to researchers at Woods Hole, these conditions force crabs to change in ways that seem almost ghostly. Longer legs, ghostly shells, and senses tuned for a world where sight is useless. That is also why, past a certain depth, true crabs start dropping out entirely. The environment simply pushes their bodies past the breaking point. Past 6,000 meters, true crabs vanish almost completely. The Hadal trenches are simply too much. The pressure, the cold, and even the chemistry cross a line their bodies can't handle. Down here, the cleanup crew changes. Giant isopods and amphipods take over, crawling through the mud where crabs can't follow. These are the real trench survivors, outlasting even the creepiest crab designs. At depths beyond 6,000 meters, true crabs are almost never found. ROV surveys and published records confirm their absence from the world's deepest trenches. As this documentary showed, each depth zone triggers specific changes. King crabs grow larger and tougher in cold, shallow seas. Japanese spider crabs develop legs longer than a human is tall. Yeti crabs farm bacteria on their arms at depths of 2,000 meters or more. Blind, bone-white vent crabs survive where sunlight never reaches. These facts are well documented by NOAA, JAMSTEC, and MBARI expeditions. Still, most of the deep ocean remains unexplored, and basic questions about population size and life cycles go unanswered. What is clear is that extreme pressure, darkness, and scarce food drive crabs into ever stranger shapes, pushing the limits of what life can adapt to. For now, the only certainty is that the deeper we look, the more evolution's experiments with the crab form reveal just how much we still have to discover.